Artist Talk. Jazzy after dark. Artist Talk. Artist Talk. Jazzy K. Jazzy after dark presents Artist Talk. A live one-on-one conversation, 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors, to motivators, chefs, and even rappers, to up-and-comers with the it factor. It's the Jazzy K Award coming at ya. Jazzy after dark. Artist Talk. Artist Talk. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax, have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax, have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Jazzy after dark.
Hey everybody, this is Jazzy K. Ward, and welcome to the show, Jazzy After Dark Artist Talk. Tonight, you're in for a special treat. We have smooth jazz composer, producer, and musician. Mr. Mike Murray is with us tonight. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's check out what you are in store for right now. everybody. Welcome to the show, Jazzy After Dark. I'm your host, Jazzy K. Ward, and you just heard that from Mr. Mike Murray giving us a little daylight. But I want to welcome each of you uh, to the show, Artist Talk. You're in for a great treat tonight. My special guest is smooth jazz composer and producer, as well as musician. Mr. Mike Murray is in the studio with us tonight. How you doing, Mike?
How you doing, Jazzie? Good to
I
see
am
you,
doing.
man.
It's good to see you too. So glad that you, hey, could hang out with us tonight. Of course, with the pandemic going on, so we're doing what we have to do.
Right.
You know,
It's all good.
it's all with all this virtual stuff going on. So Mike. So with the pandemic, I mean, how are you holding up?
Well, first, let me say thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
And while I have the opportunity, I'm going to take a moment to just not only thank you for having me on this show, but also for your support streaming all the way back to March of 2008. Yeah, I did look it up. I went back and looked it up. And I appreciate all of the support over the years with WVS and your show. And I just want to make mention. And I also want to, not to take over, I want to thank my listeners and fans as well. They're just as important, and they're so very appreciated. So anyway, back to your question, how's everything going?
Yeah.
Very
Everything's
well.
I'm loving your background back there too.
Yeah, thank you. This is my sitting nook. I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but I have a window right here.
Okay.
So I like to sit here and look out. And this is my place where I sort of relax and meditate and so forth.
Yeah.
So
is that also the place where you create this amazing music?
Thank you. Well, so the space is actually back over my shoulder. I have a little studio in the living room kind of thing, and that's where I do my music creation.
Okay.
So it all works out good.
Okay. That's great. That's great. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And again, welcome to the show, Artist Talk. A special guest is Mr. Mike Murray. Again, if you have any questions, just shoot them there in the feed. And again, I thank everyone for their support. Before we get started, if you have not already, don't forget to get your MASH, your KWARD radio MASH. All you have to do is email me on Messenger or info@kwardradio.com. Let me know the color. I have red, I have black, I have blue, I have white. And I appreciate your support. Thanks so much. But so hey, Mike, again, as I was talking about with the pandemic and all of this, so how are you and your family? How are you all coping, with the pandemic?
Well, thank you for asking. So everybody in my family, as far as I know, is doing very well. And I thank God for that. Yeah. And I certainly hope that you and your family are safe, as well as all of the listeners and supporters out there as well.
Yeah.
Wear a mask. Wear a mask.
That's important. You have to be safe. You have to be safe. We want everybody to be safe. So Mike, when we introduced you and we played that beautiful song, Daylight, I just thought, wow, I could use a glass of wine right about now.
Well,
what I heard, Daylight. Wow, what a beautiful song. So
thank you.
Is music something that has always been in you since birth?
It's hard to say. I really didn't discover an interest in music until my teens.
Okay.
Making music, but probably like most other people, listening to music, of course, came early.
Okay.
We all had our favorite tracks and songs back in the day and so forth, and they're memorable. They set us a tone. They bring back memories. The magic.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, I didn't start participating until high school.
I saw that. And
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what was also interesting about that when you mentioned that about high school, just reading a little bit of tidbit about you, but you were actually in high school a drummer.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
I started with the drums, and my father actually bought me my first set of drum and only set I've ever had.
Oh wow.
Um, and so I'm grateful to him for that. I know my neighbors downstairs weren't too grateful for that, but that's all right. They never complained. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Do you still
um,
play the drums now?
I do not just in the music creation sort of
Just in,
virtually. Yeah,
yeah. When I listen to your music, and again, we talked once before, but I was like, when I first heard Mike Murray, I could only think about George Duke.
well,
You,
that's quite a compliment, quite a compliment, and I
you
thank
know,
you for that.
you're so welcome. It's
Um,
like this, and I know you've had so many influences like Paul Hardcastle, Alex Bouillon, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and so many other, musicians and writers and composers.
yeah.
Is it anyone you kind of piggyback after, or was a major influence? Let's just talk about like George Duke a little bit. Like he always been someone that have you worked with him before, met, or did y'all ever do any music or anything together?
I I kind of meant, man, work with him. Oh man, I would have loved to have worked with George Duke, the
Yeah.
master. Let's just get it straight now. We all miss George. Us George fans, we miss George. Something terrible.
I
He
know.
went way too soon. But
Way too.
yeah, he went way too soon. But I did meet him at a concert. Briefly, I stood in line, shook his hand, and very nice man, as you would expect. He had just finished tearing up the stage, uh, playing the keyboard backwards
Wow.
live. So as you might expect, he tore it up. But George's music, George, I think, was ahead of his time, and I
Mhm.
like to listen to artists who were ahead of their time.
Oh yeah.
Sly and the Family Stone is not mentioned in my bio, I don't think, but I was a big Sly fan,
Okay.
and artists like that, and many others, only come around once or not very often, so they're
Hmm.
so appreciated, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
appreciate. I mean, and even your
yeah,
music, Mike. You have a catalog of music, and it's like it's a
yeah, yeah.
complete just. I mean, it completely tells a story, and we'll talk a little bit about love language. And when I listen to your music, as I say again, I mean, I just compare to George Duke, and I hear the Paul Hardcastle and so many different melodies in your music. Um, so when you write and compose, like where do you go to? Where do you go to say, hey, I'm going to compose or write this song? Like, what's that process?
So what I do, because I was a percussionist and started out with percussion, I always start with the percussion, and then what I try to do is add some chords behind it. It is a building block process for me.
Okay.
And if I can line up some chords that marry up well with the percussion, then
Hmm.
I'm on to something.
You're
And
honest.
I'm on to something. And so the creative process takes over, and sometimes things just sort of occur quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes they take weeks or months.
Months and months.
But it's a it's a yeah, it's a rewarding process.
Mhm.
I think that with those artists that are I mentioned in my bio as people who have influenced me, uh, when you listen to their music, there's certain parts of their music like you never want it to end. So what I try to shoot for is that part that if you notice, it's not too sophisticated. It's just kind of mellow, it's designed to put you in a place,
Yeah.
where you don't have to do a lot of thinking. You don't have to roll. It doesn't have to be a roller coaster ride. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about that. I mean, that's all great. But my style seems to be kind of simple and minimalistic, and that seems to work. People seem to respond to it. So as long as people are responding to it, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Hey, I can't agree. I can't disagree with that because it's just one of those CDs. Your music is something, even, I get in the car, I put the CD in, and hey, I can just ride from from here to California just on your music. It's just not miss a beat.
Well,
You know,
I hear that. I hear that a lot. It is riding music.
it
There's a
is.
couple of fans out there who let me know that they're playing it in their car. They enjoyed it in their car, and that's a good thing. Some
Yeah.
people go to sleep by it, puts people to sleep.
Mhm.
And that's a good thing. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like that after dinner drink music. You know?
thank you, Marcus Davis. I see you, Marcus Davis. Thank you.
Yeah.
After
So
after dinner, yeah,
yeah, after dinner drink,
yeah.
it's just I love this simplicity, if I could use that word. It's just it's something that feeds your mind, your body, and your soul when I hear your music. And it tells a story. It completely tells a story. And even when I'm at work, I can just sit here, pop the CD in, and I just get to working and typing. And I just want to tell you, thank you for great music.
Mm.
And I tell a lot of my
Oh,
young people, I listen to a lot of music, but I was like,
yeah.
there's just so much music out here. And just your support. And I just want to tell you, thank you for doing what you do.
Oh well, you're very welcome.
Hey, just
Yeah,
thank you.
it's a gift, and I thank you. It's a gift, and I believe everybody has a gift.
Mhm.
Those who are fortunate enough figure out what it is in their lifetimes, and
Yeah,
I encourage people to search and look and find until they find out what it is.
that's right. That's right. I wanted to ask you another little question here, Mike, just moving along. I like to ask all of my
Mm,
guests, you know, if you can
okay.
remember,
All right.
what was your very first, say, concert that you remember going to?
I think it was a James Brown Isley Brothers concert. I'm telling my
Oh,
age now, but yeah, I think it was a combo concert in Newark, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
oh, wow.
And it was well, James Brown and the Isley Brothers together. You can
Oh,
imagine.
wow. I could only
So
imagine that. I love that.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
Hey,
everyone,
Brendan
again,
Rothwell. Hey, man.
hey, Brendan. Again, I'm Jazzy K. Ward, your host. Thank you all so much. Thank you for the comments. Welcome to Jazzy After Dark Artist Talk. My special guest is composer, producer Mike Murray is with us tonight. So we're going to go into one of Mike's, another great song from Mike that I wanted to share with you. So we'll see you right back after this on Artist Talk.
Oye, baby, has estado en mi mente todo el día. ¿Qué tal si pasas por mi casa después de horas? y muéstrame que me quieres. Mua. Después de horas.
Wow. What a beautiful song. So I'm going to ask you, Mike, to tell us the title because I'm going to mess the title up.
Después de
This,
horas.
yeah. And that's featuring newcomer Ona B.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's your 22nd release, Love Language.
Yep.
Yeah. So hey.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So the Love Language project, that was your 22nd release? Was that your 22nd release?
That was the 22nd, I believe, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The 22nd release. Yeah, so Ona B, could you tell us a little bit how you all did this project? Because I love this CD.
Well, thank you. There's a special project for us. It is our love story put to music.
Okay.
But we, aside from focusing on and celebrating the love we share, we also wanted to get people thinking about something that's missing in the world today,
That's so
and you can never, right. And that was part of the intention for the project. But interestingly, she and I worked together for, I don't know, about 6 months, I guess, to put that together. And I
okay.
think it came out very, very well. We're proud of it. And it seems to be doing well. It's a little bit
Okay.
of a, a diversion from my usual music,
Right.
just a little bit, but it's great. It's good.
That's great. That's awesome. So also, Mike,
Thank you,
could you
Mr.
tell us?
Seaforth. Thank you,
Yeah.
Al Seaforth. How you doing?
So, Mike, could you also let our guests know, for those who are new to you, where they can pick up your music and your latest project?
Yeah, so working on a project right now. I hope to get it out. I hope to get it out before the end of the summer. It's going to be close, but
Okay.
you can get it and when it's available, and all the other projects on all of the major outlets like iTunes and Spotify and Amazon, etc.
And and
So,
uh, and and all that jazz. So if I could ask you a question, Mike, how would you describe your music?
so the music is defies genre, and I'll mention Nicole again, the Ona B. She and
Yeah.
I we throw around this term a lot, and it's genre neutrality
Okay.
because the music appeals to smooth jazz lovers. I feel, hello Terry Rimson, and to chill out listeners,
Hmm.
and probably a sliver of ambient music lovers as well. So it's a hybrid or a fusion, if you will, of probably all three.
All
But
three.
I try to stay close to my roots as much as possible because I want to not deviate too far away from the smooth jazz sound, if
Right.
you will. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know about, you have new projects coming up, and again, you can check out Mike Murray and his music again on all social media platforms. So Mike, what's the for all those who are listening to us, and you have other people that are trying to get into this business, and I'm sure it's not an easy business that you hear so many people talk about. Those who are trying to be, musicians, writers, composers. Any advice? What's the best advice you were given that you could share?
Here's the best. Here's the first advice. Don't think you can't do it. That's
Okay.
number one. Number two, are in this day and age, there's so many tools available for you to partake in the craft and in the art form.
Mhm.
So I would encourage you to look into those tools. I mean, there's so much. It's $1 billion industry we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Uh, use your investigative skills and research skills to find what works for you. Don't let anybody tell you that your methodology for creating your art form is unconventional or silly or inappropriate. Because had I listened to those kinds of folks, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
To me, an art form, any art form you partake of, no matter doesn't matter how you do the art form, it's your end product. Does the end product make you feel good about
Right.
what you're doing? And chances are, if it makes you feel good and you like it, somebody else is going to like it.
That's true.
Yeah. Persevere. I had a couple of good, really great cheerleaders, one of whom probably was solely responsible for catapulting me forward. And I'll always be appreciative of him. So
Okay.
things like that.
Things like that. Wow. That's some awesome advice. Again, for anybody that's listening, you should really take that in, from composer and producer Mr. Mike Murray. And again, I have to, for all of those who, when you hear the intro of the show, Jazzy After Dark, that was written, composed, produced by Mike Murray and Ona B. And
Yeah.
I get such a huge response back from the intro and the song. And it's like, this sounds so commercial. And I just want to say thank
Well, you're very welcome.
you.
That's
Thank you.
the least we can do for all the support you show and provide.
I
It
truly,
was our
I
pleasure.
truly appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Um, Also, let me ask you this, and we're about to run out of time, Mike. So I
Hey,
hope you
hey,
guys
Nicole
can.
Walden.
Hey, Nicole, thank you so much for stopping by. But hey, guys, don't forget to join us. Go over to my Instagram page, Jazzy after for Jazzy K Ward, and hang out with me at the after party. So me and Mike are gonna just continue a little conversation for a few minutes and play some more of his great music that we want you to go out and purchase. So make sure you follow him and go and purchase his great music, and don't forget to purchase the latest project, Love Language. And again, Mike, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me for Jazz After Dark.
Well, it's truly my pleasure, and I wish you all the best with your show. Going forward, I'm going to be watching.
Thank you
And
so much.
again, I just want to thank all my fans and listeners, and and let them know how much I appreciate them.
Yeah, and we appreciate you. Great music, and we want you to come back on the show and tell us about your project that's coming up that we talked about, and we can share your gift again of more great music with the world. And one final question for you:
Hmm.
what would you like for Mike Murray's legacy to be about your music?
The legacy.
Mhm.
Uh, I think that everybody should aim to leave their mark on this earth before they leave.
Yeah,
And, however you do it, and it really doesn't matter whether or not you do music or you do art or you do dance or you do, what, or you are a parent and you're raising great kids or you're a great husband or a great wife. Doesn't matter. Great family member.
mhm.
Your legacy is how people look back at you once you're gone. And if people will look back at you with respect and smile and say, I'll always remember that person. They were
Right,
wonderful people. They were good people, kind people. I'm big on kindness.
right.
Uh, then that's the legacy I'd like to leave. As long as people look back at me and say, that was a great guy. That was a good guy.
That's a good
I'm good with that.
guy.
Yeah.
And you truly are a great guy. And as I always tell people, music makes the world go round. Again, I'm Jazzy K. Ward. You're tuned into Jazzy After Dark on Artist Talk. My special guest tonight was composer, producer Mike Murray. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Don't forget to join me on next week, on next Monday. Our special guest will be recording artist, bassist Brendan Rothwell. So we're excited
Mhm.
to have him on the show. And we're going to leave also with one of Mike Murray's, one of his other beautiful songs featuring Mr. Daniel Chia.
Chia.
Uh, Chia. Again, I'm Jazzy. Thank you so much. Make sure you tell someone that you love them today, because tomorrow's not promised to any of us. Okay? And we'll see you next time on Jazzy After Dark on Artist Talk. Take care.
All right. Take care now.
Hey, that's the music from Mr. Mike Murray featuring Daniel Chia, the sax man. Hey, everybody, I'm Jazzy K. Ward. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition, of course, of Jazzy After Dark Artist Talk. Thank you so much for your support. And don't forget, if you haven't, make sure you get your mask. You have to be safe out here. So I have them in red, blue, white, black, and of course red right here, right? So we're gonna have fun in the after party. What's up, my brother Julius? So I hope to see you guys over there for just a little bit of fun. Hey, Miss Smooth Gerard. Come on, Smooth Gerard, and join us on live on IG for the after party. Knows how to party. But again, guys, thank you so much. And I look forward and seeing you on next Monday with my friend, recording artist, Mr. Brendan Rothwell. It's going to be fun right here. Jazzy After Dark on Artist Talk.
Jazzy K. Ward. Artist Talk.